this is gonna be crazy. Whoa, yep. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 Kia Niro EV. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Sander Kia here in South Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Niro EV. Check out their inventory link below. Let's get into the video. So under the hood of the Niro EV, we have a 64 kilowatt hour lithium ion polymer battery that is paired to a 150 kilowatt electric motor. Now in terms of the power outputs, it's good for 201 horsepower, 291 pound-feet of torque with a full range of 239 miles. Now something that I want to quickly mention about under the hood here with the Niro is I love how they have the carbon fiber accenting right there and then the blue because, well, it's an EV. But I love how they kind of display this as if it's a regular engine when it's fully electric. Most electric vehicles hide all the components, but Kia lets you see everything, and it kind of, you know, has that familiar feel to a combustion car because they've displayed it in a similar fashion. Now let's go over the front end of the Niro EV. So first off, you guys will notice here off to the side, we've got the projector bulbs right there. It's kind of hard to see them turned on right now because it's so bright, but we at least tried. Now notice that we've got the plug right there so you can charge it here from the front, and all you have to do is just press that and then you can open it and, you know, pretty straightforward stuff. We have the new Kia logo, which is new for 2022. And then coming down below, notice we got the blue accenting there and then around the front grille, again, to signify that it's fully electric. And then you can see you've got the whole fog light housing, all that fun stuff. And then everything on the front end is closed off here because, again, it's fully electric, so it doesn't need, you know, tons of airflow and all that going to feed an engine because it doesn't have one in high bend shadow. Coming around the side here, we've got two 15mm tires dropped down 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you can see the design on the wheels, how you have the metallic gray and then you've got the silver there on the outside. So it makes the wheel look a lot more open than it actually is. If you come up and look close to the wheel, very little from an opening perspective, and that is to improve aerodynamic efficiency. Notice we have the plastic molding that goes all along the side right there, and then you have more just up above to kind of create some accenting. Notice we have the body painted mirrors, and then you can see the rails there at the top of the roof, but you do have chrome molding around the windows, and there is your full side view. Now here's our key fob. Notice again we got the new Kia logo. You've got the lock there at the top, the unlock, and then you've got the hold right here for the rear hatch, and then this does have remote start as well. So we'll just hold that down for just a moment, and what that actually does is unlocks it. You actually have to go and open it up yourself because it is hydraulic. Now let's pop in the back. Now popping here into the rear cargo area, first off we have a cargo cover, and then it says Niro right here, and then it tells you the max loading is 130 pounds here in the back, aka 60 kilograms. And then this is the charging cable you get from the factory. Nicely finished in orange, so you can't lose it. And other than that, that is all for the rear. So, boom. Now finishing things here in the rear, first off, it's kind of hard to tell again because the sunlight, but this is actually black, so it is a nice contrast to the red, kind of gives it a sportier look. And notice how it goes into the taillight housing, it's all connected. That looks really cool. And then you have your regular badges here on the rear, and then more blue accenting down below with the parking sensors here across. And then obviously no exhaust tips or anything because, again, it's fully electric. But other than that, that's all. Now here's the door panel in the back. Notice here with the padding, and then again, blue stitching. Pretty cool. We've got the blackout trim right here, and then you've got the window control, one of the speakers for the sound system, got your Niro plaque, and then you guys can see the seats here, and then notice how you've got the blue behind the perforations. That looks really good, and then the piping. And let's pop in here quickly. You can see legroom. Then you can see headroom as well. And then notice we got a couple of vents right there. And then we've got the cup holders with the armrest, all that fun stuff. And let's head to the front. Now going over the door panel here at the front, this is all the same down here with the padding and the blue stitching. Got all of our window controls. You've got the automatic for the front two windows, your mirror adjustment, and then this does have power folding mirrors. They do have blind spot monitoring. And then we've got another speaker for the Harman Kardon sound system. Got the Niro plaque right there. And then here is the front seat. So again, you can see you've got the blue stitching, and then you've got the perfect leather with the blue perforations here on the outside, and then all down the middle. You can see it's kind of hard to see because of the sun, but if you look in the shaded area, it's a little bit easier to perceive. And then you've got the adjustments on the side of the seat, pedals down below, and then you can see we've got all of our fun stuff here for the charging. Got the blind spot monitoring, and then you got that for the lane departure, your stability control. The steering wheel is manually adjustable, and there's what we're looking for. We pop in. So here's the steering wheel for the Niro. First off, we got the Kia logo there, and then we got the blue stitching here to match the rest of the theme. Got our steering assist. We've got our cruise control here with the pages button. That is actually for the center screen. We'll go over that in a moment. Got your voice command controls, phone controls. We've got these paddles here on the back, which we'll go over in a minute as well. Well, actually in the driving portion. And then notice we've got the light size turn signal stock, windshield wiper stock, and it's all for the steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster. Sorry about the glare there, but notice that it says we have over 281 miles of range. Pretty interesting with that because, well, the window sticker says 239. So confusing. Anyways, other than that, it's a full kind of like digital gauge cluster. It looks great if you ask me. And then you've got these menus you can scroll through there in the center, which definitely is nice. We do have some different drive modes we can go into. So we've got our normal, sport, which notice it makes it a little bit more aggressive and how it changes the gauge on that side. And then you have your eco, and then back to normal. But I think it's cool that the sport makes it look a little bit more on the aggressive side of things, but that's all for that. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, we pop it into reverse, and we got a backup camera with trajectory lines. They do turn with the steering wheel. Nice stuff with that, and you can see the resolution. Again, parking sensors. Going from that, we've got the infotainment system. So first off, we got our EV page, which lets us know charge, and you can see that it lets you know on that side of things too, which is pretty cool. Other than that though, it's a great infotainment system. It's easy to use. I like the look of it. It's cool. It's got the navigation screen right there in the center, or on the home page basically, but that's all. Hazard light button right here with the climate control vents, and I really like the trim piece right there. Got our analog controls there for the infotainment system and radio controls, and then we have a single zone climate, but you have a driver only button if you want to be selfish and take all the air, which I am all about that, instead of having to reach over and close the vents, because yeah, it's a thing for me. Anyways, we've got our phone charger down here with a couple of USB ports, all that fun stuff. We have our gear selector, which is a dial shifter, really easy to use. Heated, cooled seats here for the front, and you can see for the drive or passenger side. And then notice the heated steering wheel is over on the passenger side rather than the driver's side, which is funny. Drive mode select, and then you can see if you push that, this is where the cup holders live, which are pretty interesting, and they're over-engineered in an extent, but I actually like this. So notice you can use this as extra storage space, but when you want to use it as a cup holder, press the cup holder thing and they pop out pretty quick. And you can see the center console. More charging port action, and then you can see we've got the blue stitching on it, and then we've got the glove box, which is press that button, that'll open it. I really like the trim here. I'm going to try to capture it on camera because it just looks black right now, but there's a design in it. Looks pretty good. Hopefully that popped up, and then you can see the rest of the dash. Pretty basic stuff from a trim piece perspective. And then we've got the sunroof here, and then you have the control there for the sunroof, and then we have the sunglass holder. So there's quite a bit of glare, but hopefully you guys can kind of see here with the window sticker. Try my best. Yeah, there's too much glare down there. Maybe we got some luck over here. Maybe, yep, we got some luck. Now, this one does have the cold weather package, which adds a battery heater, heat pump, heated steering wheel as well. Definitely recommend getting that package if you live in an area like Utah where we've got winter for half the year. Anyways, total MSRP $47,250. And let's take it out and see how it drives. Well, let's show visibility before we set off. There's your visibility of the hood through both of the mirrors, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So we are starting things off here in the parking lot so I can show you guys those paddles that we talked about a little bit earlier. So they are part of the regenerative braking system. So we've got the left paddle here that if you hold down, does more and more regenerative braking until it puts you to a stop. And then you have the paddle over here on the right side, which does the opposite, which basically makes it so that there's no regenerative braking. So you just press the paddle that you want to do. So like if you press and you have a little bit of regenerative braking, you want to turn it off, then you just press the right paddle and then it'll take it off. So instead of like doing gear shifts like what most cars do with paddles, this is for the regenerative braking. So if you want to have more or less with that system, you can just do that. So for example, I'm starting off on this road, and right now I don't have any regenerative braking because I am on the accelerator pedal. But coming up to this stop sign right here, let's say that I want to actually take advantage of the regenerative braking. So what I'm going to do is hold down the left paddle. Oh, I did too much. So now it's kind of like hardcore. I'll let go again, and then I'll hold down here. Kind of got to go into it, and then yeah, you gotta get used to it. But boom, I did not use the brakes at all. That was all paddle right there, which is pretty interesting. And I was like, why is this person stopped? Well, this is why they're stopped, because there's a train coming through. But anyways, I'll do that again coming up here behind this F-150, holding down no brakes. This is all paddle. Okay, I'm gonna let it coast a little bit, and then paddle again, and then paddle. So you literally can basically brake with just using the paddle. You don't have to touch the actual brake. But I will say the system, it's very easy to use, but it's something you take some time to get used to. So take some time to get used to it, and don't just like fully rely on that. Like, still have your foot hovered over the brake just in case, so you don't like accidentally rear end someone while using that system. But it's a great system. I really like it. Well, we are back after waiting literally what seems like half a century. That was one of those trains that was probably at least a mile long. And so, yeah, suffice to say, took quite some time for that thing to pass through. But going over the train tracks, yeah, suspension does really good. This is actually really comfortable and compliant. So, yeah, Kia nailed it from a suspension standpoint with this. Now, I do have this in the sport mode, which I can feel the steering feels a little bit heavier, a little bit more direct, it seems like, in this sport mode. Now, we are going to be taking a turn here, and this is going to be crazy. Whoa, yep. So, being front-wheel drive, it definitely will struggle for traction right off the line. But once you're up and moving, it's super good, and it doesn't torque steer like crazy or anything like that. So overall, the system's really good. So I think that they've nailed it from that perspective. But yeah, it's good. I'll do another little acceleration here. So we'll do the left paddle, see if no one's behind me. Yeah, we're good here. Yeah, it just slips for a second. It's only a second, and then it just hauls. So it's not too long. And the power is good, definitely solid. It's right where it needs to be, especially for like around town driving. And the acceleration is more than enough. Gives you that electric car head rush. That's one thing that all electric cars pretty much have in common, is they all give you a head rush. Yeah, and stopping is great. So I just did a little bit of both. I held down the paddle and did some braking, so it was just like level 1 is what it said. And yeah, it stopped pretty decently quick. We of course have to get another acceleration here, and then we'll sum things up. Tires every single time. Just do like a little, it's not like a skirt, it's just a little, you can tell they're slipping just for a second. Yeah, this thing is, gosh, I got such a head rush now. Anyways, oh my gosh, the braking on this is so good. Exterior wise, looks like a Niro, but you know, closed off. I think it's a good looking version of the Niro. I think that, I mean, I don't really have a preference over this or the gas one. I think they both look good, so yeah, take that for what it is. Interior wise, I like the design what they've done on the interior, especially here on the dash. You can see it now in the sunlight. It looks really cool. So I like that, how it has that effect. And then, you know, heated cooled seats. The only thing this is missing is dual zone climate. It's not a very big vehicle, so it doesn't really need it, but it has heated cooled seats, so you think that they'd add dual zone climate to it, but I mean, it's just a thought. Safety tech is great. It's comfortable. The drive mode select's really easy to use. It's a good daily driver car. And yeah, I mean, there's not really anything I can fault it for other than the fact that it's not all-wheel drive. I think that Kia does need to offer a version of this in all-wheel drive for markets here like Utah. Like, front-wheel drive's fine. You throw on snow tires and you'll be fine, but still, you know, people would like to have all-wheel drive, and not only does that add a little bit of safety in the snow, but it also will help with the grip as well, because you won't have this happen. It's like skirt. And so I guess for an overall rating, EV car, front-wheel drive, there's not a lot that this competes against. $47,000, so it's like a $47,000 EV, so that's like Mustang Mach-E territory. I'm going to give this a 7.5 in this version, 7.5 out of 10. If they added all-wheel drive, that would that bump up the score a bit. I will say that, but with front wheel drive, it's great, especially if you live in a place that doesn't snow. You'll love it. Now that's gonna sum things up for our video here on this 2022 Kia Niro EV. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Steiner Kia here in South Salt Lake for giving me some time with this Niro EV. Check out their inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.